Do you expect him to make it out?
A $14 million bounty on his head. And everyone in the city wants a piece of it. I say the odds are about even.
Dog. Warning, there will probably be spoilers for John Wick 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen those movies, seriously, you should probably stop. Go watch those movies. Come back. And then finish this video. Don't worry. I'll wait. John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, is directed by Chad Stahelski, who also directed the first two, and picks up right where Chapter 2 left off, with John having been declared excommunicado for killing D'Antonio on continental grounds. Also, because D'Antonio was a member of the High Table, John has a $14 million bounty on his head, and everyone in the assassin world, which is a surprisingly large number of people, is after him. Now, like pretty much everybody else I've talked to who's seen John Wick, I love John Wick. John Wick 2 was great as well. Not quite as good as the first one, but definitely a good movie. Definitely a better movie than most action films that have been released over the last decade or so. And Parabellum is definitely a worthy addition to the John Wick franchise. So, I don't want to spoil anything for the movie, but like I said, John Wick picks up right where the second one left off. John Wick has just broken the rules, killed somebody in the Continental. Now he's on the run. So what to say about John Wick 3 without spoiling anything? It's fantastic. I mean, everything that you love about the John Wick series is here. The fighting sequences are fantastic. The dialogue is sparse. They give you what you need to move the story forward, and the story just goes. I will say that I don't want to say that the director got lazy, because I don't think he did. I'm not saying that. But there are a few times that I noticed where things just didn't line up as perfectly as they have in the past. Where the angles, the camera angles were just in the wrong place, where you kind of see punches being pulled, that sort of thing. There seems like there's more quick cuts instead of the long, drawn-out, choreographed scenes that you got in the previous movies. Those are still here, but it just in a couple of the scenes, the director falls back on the quick cuts a little bit, and it is noticeable. It's not horrible. It's there. It doesn't really detract from the movie. It's just something I noticed. Now, let's be honest. What makes this series great, aside from the fact that the director is a former stuntman, so he kind of knows what he's doing on that front. But what makes the series great is Keanu Reeves and his authenticity. I mean, by authenticity, I don't mean he's an assassin in real life. That's not what I'm saying. But the stuff he does on the screen, I mean, he takes the time, not only in preparation for the movie, but in his own free time. He takes the time to know that stuff, right? So the martial arts, the ability to handle guns and know them. If you ever get the chance, look up Keanu Reeves gun training. You see this guy, I mean, this guy's a real deal. He knows what he's doing with these guns. And like I said, he's not out there killing people. At least I don't think he is. But, he's not one of these guys who learns what he needs to know for the movie and he's sort of done. He knows his stuff inside and out. And that's just cool, man. There's a bike chase scene in John Wick 3, and it could have got hokey really fast. And it didn't, thank God. But, again, Keanu Reeves, he owns his own company that makes motorcycles. I forgot what it's called. I'll link to it in the description. But I mean, even that, he loves it and he gets into it. And so when he's on the screen doing the thing, it's the real deal. And I think that authenticity, it translates to the screen, one, and two, You know, for those of us who like to watch that sort of stuff, man, we respect it. And so we respect him. So definitely Keanu Reeves is very much the icing on the cake of a whole bunch of things that come together to make this series of movies work. And they're just fun to watch, and 3 is no exception. So Parabellum brings back some of the characters from the trilogy that we've seen before. Ian McShane reprises his role as Winston. Lawrence Fishburne reprises his role as the Bowery King. One of my favorites is Lance Reddick as Sharon, the receptionist guy at the Continental. And we get some new blood as well. The big one is Halle Berry. And when I saw Halle Berry in the trailers, I got to admit, I was a little worried. What were they going to do with this character? Were they going to give John Wick a sidekick? Or were they going to have her like supersede John Wick, right? As to be more dangerous to him. And here's my political leanings coming out, so forgive me. But what they're doing with movies these days, instead of just giving women empowering roles, they have a tendency to give the woman a strong role and then be demeaning to all of the men around her. They didn't do that with this movie. Halle Berry's character is fantastic. She's just as cool as John Wick. Matter of fact, she does get a few more cool points because of the dogs. And I'm going to tell you, the dog fighting in this, not dogs fighting dogs, but the dogs fighting humans on behalf of Barry and Wick, or Sophia and Wick. Anyway, the dogs fighting humans in this movie is awesome to watch. It's absolutely cool. They could have really screwed that up, but it turned out to be really, really good. I enjoyed that a lot. And ultimately, I really liked Halle Berry's character. How they used her for what they needed the character to do. And then she went away, right? So we didn't get, a sidekick for John Wick, thank God. Angelica Houston plays the director, who's very pivotal to what John Wick's trying to accomplish in this movie. We get Asia Kate Dillon as the adjudicator, who is a pain in the butt the whole movie, mostly just because of her sheer arrogance. That's what she's supposed to do. So, the actor did what was called for the role. So I'm not knocking it. It's just, man, that character. Jerome Flynn makes an appearance as Barada. It's a fairly short appearance, but Bronn from Game of Thrones. Yay. The biggest, most interesting, and most exciting addition, however, is Mark Dacascos. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. As the character Zero. And he's not the big bad necessarily, he's like the military arm for the big bad. So he gets the big fight scene at the end with John Wick, and it's awesome. Not only is the dude's fighting skills amazing, but his role's actually really, really funny. And while in a surprising way, not in an off-putting way. If his name rings any bells, for all that I butchered its pronunciation, I remember him from a couple of things. From 1994's Double Dragon, for those who remember that winner of a movie. But he was also in a movie that I highly recommend watching called Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is a French film, so you're either going to have to deal with subtitles or overdubs. I go for subtitles myself, but whatever. Brotherhood of the Wolf, excellent movie, check it out. But the general population will probably best recognize him as the chairman from The Iron Chef. Yeah, that guy is a crazy awesome martial artist dude. Who knew? Well, I knew. Anyway, if I have to complain about something, and I'm gonna, sorry, there's a twist at the end that I didn't see coming, and I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit of explanation in the next movie. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a next movie. But I hope we get an explanation that makes what happened work. It's just one of those situations where you have to question it. And I do question it. It's an interesting situation. But I don't care. So long as they keep these movies coming. They're awesome movies. I love this movie. It was better than the second one. I'm still sort of on the fence as to whether or not I think it was better than the first one. But excellent movie. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Go see it in the theater so that they get lots of money and they make more. And that's my opinion on John Wick. I hope you guys go see it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. Thanks for tagging along in this review. I'll see you next week with another one.